Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's career discovery presentation on the tribal colleges, a panel. My name is Amanda Wydula. I'm the University and Student Development Coordinator at the Bank of North Dakota, and I will be facilitating today's webinar. During today's session, students and counselors will learn about the tribal colleges, the challenges and student services available at those schools, and why students should consider a tribal college for their education after high school. Just some housekeeping items today. In the menu of the webinar, there is both a chat and a Q&A function that we welcome and encourage all attendees to use for your questions or comments that you have about today's webinar. We will answer questions throughout the webinar as well as at the end, so please put them in the Q&A or the chat when you have them. We'll be monitoring both boxes. So today we have 4 panelists. Our first panelist is Brittany Belgard. Brittany is an enrolled member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa and is currently serving as a Student Services Specialist at Turtle Mountain Community College in Belcourt, North Dakota, where she works closely with incoming students and the current TMCC students to help them succeed in college. Our second panelist is Kara DeMar. Kara is a lawyer and an educator, holding degrees from both Sitting Bull College and recently achieved her JD from Mitchell Hamlin School of Law. She has clerked for the Attorney General of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe and currently serves as the Trio Support Services Director at Sitting Bull College. Next, we have Vicki Alberts. Vicki serves as the Admissions and Recruitment Director at United Tribes Technical College and is an enrolled member of the three affiliated tribes and represents the Spirit Lake Dakota and the Lakota Hunkpapa tribes. She has earned degrees from NHSC and is working on her master's from National University. She feels very fortunate to work for a tribal college and promotes all that they have to offer for all students. And lastly, but we have Iman Moore. Iman is a member of the three affiliated tribes as well and has lived in North Dakota since she was 2. At Nueta Hidatsa Sanish College, she serves as the NACTEP Project Director, which is a grant program to train and employ Native American students. In addition, she is currently working to develop material to improve engagement with high school students and to get them thinking about a career early on and help them prepare to enter the workforce. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. So the first thing that we are going to talk about is for each of you to give a brief highlight about the college that you work for. Whoever wants to go first. Iman, let's start with you. Here, Iman, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I dialed in on my phone, so it's goofy. I think I'm talking to both. But okay, so we have on average about 160 to 200 students a semester. We have 9-month programs, we have associate degree programs, and we have bachelor degree programs. We have our main location is centered in Newtown, North Dakota, and then we have mentor sites, so distant sites at Mandaree, Twin Butte, Parshall, and White Shield. And yeah, that's an overview of our college.
And Brittany, you want to talk about TMCC?
Yes, can everybody hear me fine?
Yes.
Okay, so the Turtle Mountain Community College is located in the north central part of North Dakota. We're right by the beautiful Turtle Mountains and right by the Peace Gardens, just to give you a little idea of demographics of where we're located. Currently for this semester, we have roughly 585 students enrolled for the fall semester, which is really great considering we're in the middle of a pandemic and we were really worried about our numbers. But we offer several different associate degrees, certificate degrees, and then we have 5 bachelor programs, and we are happy to announce that we will be starting our first graduate master program in the fall of 2021.
Awesome. Vicky, do you want to talk about United Tribes next? We
Okay, can you hear
cannot.
me
Oh, there
okay?
we. Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you. Great.
Hello, everybody. Noa Sa'asanash today. Greetings to you all in my Rikara language. My name is Vicky Alberts, and I am an enrolled member, as Amanda said, of 3 affiliated tribes. I also represent Spirit Lake Dakota and Lakota Hunkpapa Sioux tribes. I'm currently the Admissions and Recruitment Director at United Tribes Technical College. And first of all, we say welcome to everybody here today. Just a quick overview of UTTC. We have about 15 different degree and certificate programs. We have 4 bachelor's degrees, 13 associate level degrees, and 2 certificate degrees, which include heavy equipment. We kind of differ with some of the tribal colleges in the fact that we're located, if you want to call Bismarck urban, we're located in an urban area. So a lot of times, like I always like to say, tribal colleges are education in your backyard. But, one great thing about UTTC is that if you kind of want to get away from home and get that state college feel at a tribal college, definitely take a look at UTTC. We have a lot of great services for our students. And currently we usually have around maybe about 400 students on average on campus. And those include, students from all over the country in Canada, including some international students. So we do have a very diverse student population as well.
All right. And lastly, Kara.
Sure. So Daya hipi shantemo washte nalila iyo makipisto Kara Damari amachiapi and Matoa Kichita Matahan. Good morning or good afternoon now. Welcome you all. My name is Kara Damari. I'm coming to you from Sitting Bull College on the Standing Rock Reservation. We have our main campus in Fort Yates, North Dakota. We also have 2 satellite sites in McLaughlin, Bear Soldier, South Dakota, as well as Mobridge. We usually serve about 300 students a semester. Those students range from dual credit students who are coming and taking some classes while they're in high school, to our around 16 associates and certificate program students, to those are the number of programs, to our around, I think we have 8 bachelor's degree programs and we have 3 master's degree programs here at Sitting Bull College. We are lucky enough to be able to provide housing, academic advising, career and technical advice, job seeking skills, various clubs, internships, day and evening classes, some child care, and we are very happy to have any students join us here at Sitting Bull College.
Wonderful, thank you. So the next topic we'll be addressing are what are some common challenges that students at your college encounter? And especially this year, I think all students are probably encountering different things that a lot of us haven't really encountered before, or maybe they're just exacerbated because of, just what 2020 is like. So we'll go in the same order.
Okay, can you hear me this time?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So when I think about our incoming students, in terms of high school students, I feel like the biggest issue there or the biggest challenge they face is being prepared for college. I think that sometimes they're not really kind of in the know that they're going to have to pay for college, so we see a lot of students not really being aware of that part. Sometimes it's having to do kind of remedial type stuff. And that's pretty standard with our Comp 1 and beginning math classes. And then for our adult students, we serve students that are on average about age 26. Some of the challenges they face are being parents, and then having children, and then working, and then sometimes they're caring for an elder. Sometimes it's an issue of transportation. So that's, yeah. big picture, like some of the biggest barriers, I suppose, for high school and for our current college age or our older adult age students.
All right, Brittany.
Yeah, so kind of like was said previous, some of the issues and challenges that students encounter for our incoming students, a lot of them are first generation students, so not really having an understanding of what college entails and as far as admissions and getting registered and financial aid, all those steps that they need to take to be prepared for their first year in college. And that seems to be a challenge with a lot of them. Um, Also, we do serve a higher number of adult learners and students that come in that are older than average students, and having to learn new techniques as far as technology and as far as missions. They might be returning students, but things have changed since the last time that they came to college. So those are some of the challenges that they face as well. And just to talk a little bit about the pandemic, a lot of our students have challenges that come with not being technology savvy or having the experience with working with technology. And everybody has a different learning type. So we have students that come in that are more hands-on learners, where when you're remotely, as we are for the semester, there's some challenges that come with having to learn online. Another challenge too is we have students that have young children in school, and our tribal college or our tribal school right now is remote as well for our students. Our young students aren't in school, so these parents are having to be students on their own, and then having to be a teacher to their students, to their children. So those are some of the challenges that we face at TMCC.
All right, Vicki.
Yeah, just to kind of echo Iman and Brittany, I mean, some of the challenges they've already spoke of are pretty true to all tribal college students in general, a lot of times older than average. Well, at UTTC, a kind of a unique thing that's happening with our college is that our population is actually changing and we're actually getting younger. So we are getting more of the college age, 18 to 24-year-old students, and a lot of, kind of to echo what Iman said, some of them are not necessarily prepared for college. And so the biggest thing I guess I'm trying to work on in my office in particular, because I'm admissions and recruitment, is just getting those students engaged from day one. As soon as they put an inquiry in, we want to make sure that they feel engaged with the university, the college, their parents. So the dynamic is changing a little bit, and so we're having to kind of change with that, and just making sure, as Brittany said, the students are, ready and prepared for virtual learning, because in our case, we had a lot of students who, again, living in the Bismarck-Mandan area, who may not have had access to technology. They may not have had Wi-Fi in their homes, or we have students who are even attending school from New Mexico and Arizona right now, and they're in very remote areas. And so just having to adjust and make sure that everybody had that accessibility in order to attend college classes. And then we also have an elementary school on campus, and making sure that the students with families, that their students are also, able to attend courses. And just, as the previous speaker said, the students are, they have so many hats, that they wear. They're students themselves, they're caretakers, they're being teachers to their own children. And so just kind of having to offer those supports, I guess, to be there and encourage, and kind of deflect some of that, those challenges that are going on. We want to meet those needs, for our students. But especially with COVID, we had quite a few. Our retention was actually pretty good. So that means, we were supporting our students, and that's the biggest thing with tribal colleges is, the students each come in with kind of a unique, unique backgrounds, and we want to make sure that that we're meeting our students' needs. And so I guess, just echoing what everybody else said, those are some pretty common, things that our students come in with and that we have to prepare for.
And I'll echo Vicki there and just say, Sitting Bull College faces the very similar concerns to all the other tribal colleges in North and South Dakota. We do have a older traditional student. We have students with families, and we are on Standing Rock Reservation, which is over 2 million acres. So we have a lot of transportation issues. We do at the college provide a transit service to the various districts, but getting people on campus back before COVID and now making sure that there is accessibility via Wi-Fi or internet is a significant difficulty for us. I will say that another challenge that we face that is probably shared is that many of our students come into Sitting Bull College not realizing the wealth of financial aid opportunities that can be available for them here at the college. And we do have a fairly low income population in this region, and students think that they'll need to have some significant amounts of resources in order to come to college, which is not the case. Most of our students are Pell eligible. Many of our students end up using some sort of financial aid. I think it's something like 79% of our students last year received some sort of financial aid. So there are many opportunities for that kind of aid available, and it is a challenge making sure that students in high schools and then even our, in the community and other community members are aware of those things that are available here at the college.
Awesome. So this was a question that came in, and it has to do with, the pandemic and the college's response. Are the schools doing virtual, face-to-face, or a combination of both? And anybody can jump into this one.
NHSC is all virtual right now.
Yeah, and at UTTC, because we do offer some, some vocational courses, we do have, kind of some students on campus, for example, for our heavy equipment, for our welding, our automotive, certain things that you can't do, virtually. They were virtual for an extended, for a short period of time, but now they are on campus, and we just, those programs too have limited enrollment, so it's kind of easier to practice social distancing, things like that on campus. But most of our academic programs, all of our academic programs are all virtual learning this semester.
Yeah, the same at TMCC. All classes and coursework are virtual for now, and we do have our certificate programs where lab time is required, and that is going to be taken into consideration for the second 8 weeks of the semester, where the instructors will work with their class roster and schedule and times for those students to come in, just so we follow the guidelines for CDC. Otherwise, everything is online.
And we at Sitting Bull College have done a similar approach to Turtle Mountain, where we did start out doing in person. Now we are moving to having our labs still in person, as well as our career and technical vocational classes, including like our nursing class, which is a very important kind of program to have going right now. And so we are moving more of our academic courses online to try to keep everyone safe for this last half of the semester.
Awesome, thank you. So the next question that we have put together is, what is your school doing to address those challenges? I know a couple of you have kind of alluded to some of the wonderful things that your school is doing to help support your students and help your students out, but can you highlight some of those wonderful things that you have on campus to support your students and allow them to be successful? And Iman, if you want to go.
Okay, yeah, sure. So right now, for like the majority of the students who are just starting a program, like an academic program, I work a lot with CTE, and I also work with a few of the academic programs, but I know that right now our Comp 1 class kind of incorporates like that additional writing and kind of like sentence structure stuff that's kind of like would be like remedial, but it's kind of like combined, so they're not taking an extra class. So it's just a little bit longer Comp 1, so it's like a 4 credit, I think. So they just add like an hour of study hall or amount of time for a 4 credit. And then same with the math, we have the Statway implemented, and then there's also like a I think that was kind of a thing that all the tribal colleges did, or well, not all of them, but a lot of tribal colleges started the Statway program, and so there's also like almost like it's like an alternate sort of collaborative way to do math, like the required math for the different degree programs. for like the student service aspect of it, I know that our college does like the emergency aid program right now, and so that's just to kind of help students with like diapers or groceries or stuff that's going to kind of get in their way. What I do at the college is I have a retention program, and so it kind of provides like a little bit of assistance with the tuition. It provides monthly transportation funds and monthly childcare funds for those who need it. And the grant that I have is called NACTEP, which you had mentioned at the beginning. And so basically that's just like offsetting those other costs. And then the other thing that I do is I understand that the students don't always have that preparedness thing, so I kind of make sure to just double check. I mean, I'm not their advisor, but so I'll say, you know, make sure you check in with your advisor. This is your degree plan. So it's kind of like they get it over and over. This is your path to graduation. And with my program, on the past 4 to 6 semesters, about half of the graduates have been students that have participated in the NACTEP cohort. So I really kind of go above and beyond, just providing that support in any kind of thing. Just even if it seems like a dumb question to them, like, no, it's not a dumb question. Just like ask me, you know. So, and now I have somebody that's working with me now, so we can start to try to like recruit in the high school level, but like to kind of promote that preparedness too. So, yeah.
Awesome. Brittany.
Yeah, so just to talk a little bit of the challenges that I talked about, we'll talk a little bit before pre-COVID and some of the things that we did to alleviate some of those challenges for our students. We started working with high school students right away. Our financial aid department and our admissions department meet with local area high school juniors and seniors to start talking about those processes that they need to be aware of when it comes time to applying for school and for financial aid. So we like to give them kind of a head start and just a fair warning of some of the things that they're going to be having to work on, and it's get them started on scholarships right away, because having that financial aid really makes it a lot easier for them to be successful and helps with our retention rates here at TMCC as well. We have 2 emergency funds that are offered all year round to students. We have a Dream Keeper emergency fund and then an Angel fund, and these are available for students whenever they have any issues with any emergencies that might come up that will kind of stop them in their path as far as continuing on with their education and being successful. We offer tutoring all year round, and that's something that we also continued during the pandemic, and we are very fortunate to still be able to offer virtually. The wonders of technology is amazing, and being able to offer these services to students is great. We extended our IT support, especially during these times. And one thing that we did for this semester too, talking a little bit of how we're dealing with the pandemic, is since everything is online and virtual as far as classroom time, each student was given a laptop at the beginning of the semester. So that way they have access to those technology requirements that they're going to need for their classes. So it's really been trying, but considering the pandemic and not being able to meet with students face to face, we still offer different support services. If there's students that have trouble getting connected online, if they can't get a hold of somebody in IT because they're so busy, student services is always there to help them, their advisors, the faculty. We really strive on building relationships with our students. And I'm sure it goes for every travel college too, you know, just having that one-on-one experiences with your students, it really helps. So that's definitely something that we do as far as addressing challenges too.
All right, Vicki.
Yeah, and just to, again, echo what Brittany and Iman said, we also have the emergency aid grant, which is very nice to assist our students with any type of emergency expenses. We do have the automotive program on our campus, and they actually work on like student and faculty and staff cars. So that's kind of nice. And so they only charge for parts. And so if students need their car repaired, they can just take it right on campus, get emergency aid to assist with the cost. And or even, yeah, we also have a career closet for students who need clothing for interviews, things like that. We have a campus cupboard for students because about 60% of our students reported food insecurity about the past 2 years. So we want to make sure that we're addressing that need. We also have various gardens on campus. So our land grant department helps provide fresh produce to students, faculty, and staff, and it really helps, our students address those needs of food insecurity. The campus cupboard also offers, basic needs like diapers, but then the emergency aid fund is just very, very helpful. That's helped stock our campus cupboard a couple of times throughout the year. Students, if they have trouble like getting transportation, they need gas, say like a Lyft or Uber card, we can assist with that. Their electricity, rent, anything like that, the grant can assist with. And students are allowed up to, I think each college kind of sets their own, I guess, limit. And so our college has set a limit of $1,000 per year. So students can get up to $1,000 per year in assistance. And actually kind of one great thing is that our retention rate from students who attended or who got a spring grant, or actually we had 100% retention rate of those students coming back to school. So that was kind of like a large win for us, and it shows that the program is working, addressing the financial needs of our students. We don't offer loans, so we want to get our students through college debt-free, as debt-free as possible. We also offer the Native American tuition waiver, which allows students to come to school tuition-free. We do have deadlines for that. Students do have to be accepted, and they have to have their FAFSA complete. I'm not quite sure about the other tribal colleges, but in our admissions requirement, we do require all students to complete their FAFSA. And just as, Kara had mentioned, students, when they complete their FAFSA, they may be Pell eligible. We don't want them to miss out on, on that funding. And scholarships are a great way to go. We had one student who was able to secure $50,000 a year in scholarship funding. I mean, that's somebody's salary. So, I mean, there's so many things that are available to our students, and we want to make sure our financial aid staff is great about getting that information out. And I'm not just biased because I used to work in financial aid, but they are really great staff members. And, and our student support services, we all just kind of work in tandem, with one another to get our students and approach them holistically to make sure that their academic needs, their wellness needs, we do have a clinic on campus, so students don't have to go, if they have to see a doctor, they can get referrals, they can get eyeglasses, dental, we offer so many different services at UTTC to try to ensure our students were set up so they, we're set up for students not to fail. And it's like we always like to tell them, you bring your 50%, we'll bring our 50%, and we'll meet you halfway to, ensure that our students, come in the door, and they may have questions, they may be timid, they may be afraid to ask, but that's one big thing we always tell our students, don't be afraid to ask questions. That's how you find out where things are. And yeah, I just kind of think those are some of the things that we offer at UTTC. So.
Right, and Kara.
And we are in a time of coronavirus, pandemic, COVID. We have so many challenges on top of challenges that we have already had. And so there's kind of two parts to this. One is what we're doing now for the coronavirus, COVID stuff, and the other is what we generally do to support students who are going through challenges. We really focus on having wraparound services. Similar to what Ricky said, we've got a transit center where folks can get cars repaired. They also provide busing around the reservation and to Bismarck and Mobridge. We've got a great financial aid director who's been here for 40 years. And then we have a whole sort of financial aid team who are working to make sure that FAFSAs and scholarships do get completed and help is provided whenever it's needed. We have an academic coach and counselor who's on staff, who's always available to help students out who are struggling with classes. We also have a career and technical guidance counselor who's available for more personal and career life decisions. We are lucky here in student services to have our housing director, to have a campus daycare, to have our community library, to have various opportunities for students to get tutoring, whether that be through peer tutors or through instructor tutors or staff, opportunities for students to do internships and research, whether that be in the community or elsewhere, and here on campus have work study opportunities and other ways for students to get involved, including, say, student government and other clubs. So we're trying to have these wraparound services for students to feel fully supported during their time here at Sitting Bull College. And during the pandemic, that second part, during the pandemic, what that's looked like for us is moving online. We were thrown into this moving online, but it has actually been a great thing for our college here at Sitting Bull to learn these new ways, to get our instructors trained in making online content. And we've been able to provide many tutorials, videos, and then also just people for students to reach out to for questions moving online. So we're doing our best to address these challenges, but yes, these are challenging times.
Awesome, thank you. So to the attendees, we are moving on to our last question, but if you have any questions at all, go ahead and put them in the question box below. So our final question, why should students consider a tribal college for their education? I mean, other than the impeccable student services that you've all highlighted at your school, I mean, it really sounds like student services at tribal colleges are unmatched. But what are some of the other reasons that students should consider a tribal college for their education after high school?
So one of the things that sticks out is the fact that the class sizes are typically pretty small. Well, we have really small enrollment at our institution, so our class sizes are really small, which means you have more access to your instructor. The other thing is, you know, you'll have access to learn about your culture at a tribal college because for sure NHSC has kind of like a required TAT history and like all of the different programs. So if you didn't grow up exposed to anything about your culture or your history, that's a really great place to get it and just kind of start a hunger for learning more about who you are and the history of your people. But yeah, and then it's also a good place to try to prepare to transition and get an understanding of what it would be like to attend like a big university. So.
Mom, I thought we go to baby talk.
Yeah, just kind of going off of that, one of the things that I say, being a graduate of a tribal college and then moving on to university is it sets a foundation for you for transitioning and to be prepared for the university style of learning. It's also close to home, and sometimes it's close to home, close to family, so you have that support, especially with being if you're a first generation student, having that support from family is really big and help with making sure that you're successful. Also the culture, that's a big thing for tribal colleges, is being able to learn your culture while you're here, having that experience to have that culture incorporated into your curriculum and in your everyday class. It's so important to know who you are and where you come from, so that way you could take that knowledge and that strength that it brings to you when you move on to a university.
Right, Vicki.
Definitely, culture is a big part of tribal colleges in general, because that's actually why we're tribal colleges. And just as a reminder, as what I said earlier, tribal colleges are education in your backyard. I mean, with TMCC, NHSC, and Sitting Bull, those are located within reservation bounds within, North Dakota. And then UTTC, like I said, is a little unique in the fact that we're located in Bismarck, and we service, students from all over the country, pretty similar to Haskell Indian Nations University. But tribal colleges are just such a great place for students to start, to finish, myself too, I am also a tribal college graduate. I graduated from NHSC and kind of went in a little different direction. Actually worked in oil and gas for a while and somehow wound up in education. So, the career paths are kind of endless. But the biggest thing for me with tribal colleges are opportunities. You have so many opportunities that you would not get at any other college or institution. For example, we have students who get internships. They're able to travel to Costa Rica for over Christmas break to do environmental research. We have students who partner with NASA, and so there are so many opportunities. We also have the American Indian Higher Education Consortium, or otherwise known as AHEC, and that They provide a conference just about every year, despite these past, this past year and this year due to COVID, unfortunately. But generally, they provide an annual competition for students from all 37 tribal colleges to attend and participate in. And those competitions range from, drama and arts all the way to science and tech. And so there's something, for everybody at these things. And not every, college has that. And so it kind of gives students a little bit of a kind of an incentive to kind of do well, because you have to meet certain GPA requirements, you have to try out and audition for teams, and just gives them a sense of pride too, to represent their people and their tribal college, during that competition. So there are just so many, opportunities, great internship opportunities that tribal colleges offer, scholarship opportunities that tribal colleges offer, and they're great places, and it's education. It's right there, right at your fingertips. And so that's why I always, I'm so proud to be a tribal college graduate and to work with tribal college, students, and at a tribal college myself. So.
Yes, I am also a tribal college graduate, and I'm also non-native. And so when students can consider a tribal college for their education, let us be clear, all students should consider a tribal college for their education. I received such a phenomenal education here at Sitting Bull College. I then went on to law school and graduated summa cum laude from law school, and that's coming from a tribal college. Here on Standing Rock at Sitting Bull College, we have about 92% Native students, but we have plenty of the students from the community, like me, who attend the college, who are non-Native, and we are able to incorporate our like the culture of the Standing Rock community and Lakota Dakota culture into all our classes and our student services in a way that makes this place feel like home. That is the thing about tribal colleges, is you can go to any other college and be a number, but here at tribal colleges, people know your name, people have your back, people will help you out. We are here to support our students. There are something like 30 something tribal colleges, which include over 350 total programs, servicing around 30,000 full-time and part-time students a year. So the tribal college movement is huge across the United States. And the variety of education you can get at a tribal college, and really the level of education, can propel you into a career, a great career, into further education, into kind of wherever you need to go. So I'm proud to be a former tribal college student, and I welcome anyone who wants to be.
Wonderful, thank you. So we did get one more question. It sounds like all of the panelists and all of the colleges were able to stay in touch with most of their students during the pandemic, but did you run into any challenges or issues with some students that maybe they had specific challenges or you couldn't get in touch with when everybody was working and learning remote?
Yeah, I can actually, I'll cover that a little bit as far as TMCC. When we first went into remote learning during the beginning of the pandemic, it was really trying because you have a tendency of having students that will change their phone number and you can't reach them, and they don't always check their email. And one thing I wanted to touch about too about tribal colleges is it's a family. You get a sense of family at tribal colleges because the relationships that you build are ones that will last a lifetime. And that's one of the challenges we faced at the beginning of the pandemic, was reaching students. But we came together, and each department might have had different phone numbers, different ways of contact, and we came together as a community of the tribal college to reach these students. And if it wasn't somebody from student service, it was somebody from another department that reached out to these students and said, hey, we're here, we want to help you. Are you having troubles? Let's work through this. You're going to be successful this semester. Let me help you. So yeah, it was definitely challenging moving into the pandemic and moving to online, but having that sense of family really helped us when it came time to reaching out to students during a very, very trying time.
Yeah, if I could just jump in regarding UTTC, we, like I said, we have students who went back, for example, to New Mexico, to Navajo Reservation, and it was very hard to get a hold of a few students, as they kind of scattered between the U.S. and Canada, and due to students having, being sent home after spring break. So it was a little bit of a challenging time, but again, we do our best to maintain, student contact information, and just as Brittany said, sometimes an advisor might know, have a better contact number, so then we can update it in our system and make sure everybody's has the same thing across the board. But we did have students, again, who didn't have, access to Wi-Fi. They didn't have access to phones. They may have been staying at grandma or grandpa's, and they just didn't have that access. So just kind of as Kara said earlier too, we kind of had to change some of our practices and make sure, that not only are we addressing, these technology needs for students, but we're also addressing those students who may not have access to that and trying to figure out ways to keep in contact, with those students. So those did provide some, some challenges and helped us develop kind of our best practices right now. And those are things, post-pandemic that we'll keep in place in order to maintain contact, with our students. For example, one thing we're doing in admissions is, we had students who were on lockdown on their reservations and they weren't able to leave, get documents for admissions to us. And so we extended our tuition waiver deadline, due to these, certain things. Students weren't, they didn't have access to a fax machine, to a scanner, that sort of thing. So kind of one thing we're going to start doing is just sending, pre-addressed, pre-stamped envelopes to our students with their admissions packets and their initial letters. So then that'll help them, be able to get, their documents to us in a timely manner. So there are just kind of, it almost kind of seems like an archaic practice, but, it's something that needs to be done just to ensure that our students, can stay in contact with us, and just promoting that, education and teaching them some accountability. We can't contact you unless we have your updated contact information. So we had a lot of social media posts, just various, we communicate with students through text message. So just sending, using those various forms to try to stay in contact with our students.
Wonderful. All right. Well, not seeing any further questions, thank you, all four of you, for taking time out of your busy day to highlight the excellent work that your colleges are doing now, and have been doing for quite some time. So if anybody has any other questions, send them over to us and we will direct them to our panelists. And attendees, thank you for joining us today. Our next Career Discovery webinar is tomorrow, Thursday, October 15th, and we'll be going live at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we will be hosting another panel on entrepreneurs. So if you are or have a student who is interested in starting their own business, being their own boss, and learning that not all paths to success look quite exactly the same, that is the panel for you. And then next week on Tuesday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Jim Upgren from the Department of Public Instruction will be presenting on the academic and CT scholarships available for North Dakota high school graduates. And you can register for these presentations and all upcoming Career Discovery presentations, and as well as see the recordings of all previous Career Discovery presentations on the Career Discovery tab of the Career Compass website. All right, everyone, thanks so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.